Hi, this is Omar Qureshi and I'm sitting with two of my favorite people in the whole world, Rishi Kapoor and Neetu Singh Kapoor. And I have always said that they're the classiest people I know. They're trying to be middle class now, so we try to create a middle class setting for them. Let's see how middle class we can get in this interview. Hi Neetu, hi Rishi.
Hi, Omar.
Hi.
Omar and me, rather Neetu, myself and Omar go a long way back. We've been very old friends. Thank you for the coffee. Thank you, Zoom, for the coffee as well.
And I like the setup. It goes with the movie.
And thank you for calling us for this interview.
Oh, thank you for coming. It's really our pleasure entirely. Tell me, the movie is about a middle class couple. That must have been really hard for the two of you to play.
Yes, it was. I mean, considering you see that,
Yeah.
but then that credit should go to the director and the writer, who's the same person, Habib.
Yeah, yeah.
Habib Faisal, who conceptualized this role, who wrote it. And let me tell you a small story. He came to narrate the story to me, and I heard the script, which was brilliant, and I asked him, it's very good, but what do you want me to do in this film? He said, I want you to play the main protagonist. So I said, listen, you want me to play the main role in the film? He said, yeah. He said, listen here, you should be taking some big star or some young star or something other, because this is your debut film, you're beginning your career. You need a big star to start with. He said, sir, my star is my story.
Yeah.
It's my subject. Okay. And that day I had total belief in him as a director.
Okay.
Thereafter then I said, now who's going to be playing my wife? So he said, मैं गलती तो नहीं कर रहा मैं आपसे कह के कि you know I would like Neetu ma'am to do it. I said, where will she work in films? Where did she do films? So I said, no, let's be realistic and let's talk real, you know. So we went around this, that, yeah, and we zeroed into Juhi Chawla. Then he went to Juhi Chawla. Juhi loved the script, loved everything. Again, the same story, but she had some reservations and issues in the film, playing a mother to a 15-year-old. So it so happened that, you know, the story was so good and it really impressed me so much. I happened to tell one evening Neetu about the whole thing. And I asked her that, why don't you, why don't you hear it?
He was so excited about the script. So I said, let me just hear it. I still thought, I'm not going to do the film, not at all. But trust me, when Habib was narrating the story and I just got so involved that I started imagining that I was Kusum. And I was imagining myself in that role, and the way he had, the scenes were so beautiful, the dialogues were so real. I was just too excited about this film. And I said, Habib, I have to do this. And he said, really? I said, yes.
Now, how did it feel to come in front of the camera again?
I was very, very nervous that how am I going to memorize the lines and, stuff like that. But second day, then everybody made me feel comfortable. And he was there, and Habib was so good, and everybody was...
इंसान एक बार साइकिल चलाना सीख लेना फिर वो छोड़ दे और वो 10 साल के बाद फिर साइकिल चलाए तो एक सेकंड में फिर उसको बैलेंस मिल जाता है.
His energy levels haven't waned. They're still
Not
as
at
high as
all.
ever.
No,
Like,
no,
he's got a cold and he's still like on steroids or something. So, I mean,
He's always on
is he like
steroids.
that at home also?
Oh yes, he's
Yeah,
always like
constantly,
that.
always like that.
So I always wish that please go out, go to work.
The movie, I mean, is about a middle class guy who wants to buy a car, right? So, how did it feel when you had bought your first car?
I didn't buy it. My father gave it to me.
Okay.
So, you know, that
that
kind of
feeling-
thing didn't come into me. There was a car available to go to a school, school was 20 miles away. So there was a car which used to take all the children. So I really didn't go through that
The first
emotion.
car
as such.
when you bought with your own money, and that first
Yeah.
rush.
You see, the film is not essentially about buying a car. The film essentially teaches you something in life. That, you know, in life when you are learning, you're taught the basics like 2 + 2 is 4, do duni 4. You're groomed in your days to face life. And when you want to come to face life, then the life tells you that 2 + 2 is not 4. It is 2 + 2 is 5. You know, they want
go
you to
the
be
wrong
smart. They want you to
Yeah.
be smart.
Yeah.
They want you to, you know, be the teda guy.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 + 2 is 22. It's not 4.
Yeah.
It's how you deal with a situation.
Right.
It's how you are faced to a situation like that you take up the world. And the film essentially is about teacher family with 2 kids, very happy family in their own space. They have no problems about life. But then there are problems, but in that problem there is
How to
happiness
deal with
also.
it. How to
How to
deal
There's
with it.
happiness
Yeah.
also and how
Yeah.
they deal with it. So I think it's a very noble film about a very noble teacher.
And done in a very
and it's a very
humorous
and
in a way,
said very comically,
subtly.
it has a lot of satire, a lot of wit. And I think it's probably the reason why I wanted Neetu to do the film is the reason why that we have done 13 films earlier, and this is the reason why after 30 years we would have done this film. Because I personally feel, whatever may be the fate of the film, I personally feel for posterity, this film will remain in our hearts.
Right. Yeah.
So that is why we did this.
Very heartwarming, very Rishikesh Mukherjee. And,
Yeah.
I would right now term the word a very Habib Faisal film.
yeah. He was always from Raj Kapoor's family, but you also began as an actress. So for you, it must have been a thrill buying your first car and your first home, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
But again, I would say it was like many, many years back.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I really don't know the thrill at that time. Because, I'm sure there must be that kind of a
I mean,
buzz.
the two of you have been straightforward people. You always called it shot from the hip. How can you deal with like 2 + 2 is 22?
Are you saying that I'm a guy who makes 2 + 2 5?
Or 22?
See, I'll tell you.
But you're an actor.
In my
You
life,
play different
no,
roles.
in my life, I have always been called the urban guy.
Yeah.
The rich guy, the guy who could never, pass off as a pauper. I could never be a,
Yeah.
a underfed guy. I could never be,
No, never.
I was always a rich-looking guy. No, I'm saying something. Hold
I know,
on.
he told me about one story. You told me.
I
yeah.
told you that. I was never considered, nor is she. We were all supposed to be glamorous heroes and heroines. But to get into this space of playing Kusum and Santosh,
Yeah.
Dougal, was quite an ordeal. And perhaps somewhere way back in my mind, something had stayed of this Punjabi guys whom I've seen over the years in my boy. And then Habib had this lovely role for me, which we kind of worked on it. The whole film is shot in Delhi.
Delhi, okay.
The whole
And with
film
lot of
started.
difficulties with
we
all
shot
the
a lot
crowds.
of difficulties. We a lot of crowds. We had a lot of problems about the weather. It was a wintry effect film, and winter failed in Delhi. And then we were wearing all the woolens and in the not nearly the summer, but getting into summer scale. So well, these are parts of filmmaking. You do tide over them. But the fact remains, the film is complete now. It's for release, and the film is called Do Duni Char. Please, guys, go and see Do Duni Char.
Yeah. But
I
it
think
was-
more than anybody, my whole family is very excited.
But is it true that he threw out somebody years ago who came and offered him the role of a farmer wearing a dhoti?
Yeah, I think he did. See, do I look like one?
Yes. How can you envisage me in a role के
Yeah.
बोलता कि picture शुरू होती है कि दूर से आवाज आ रही है एक बग्गी की कट 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 घोड़ी गाड़ी आ रही है पट 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 हम क्या देखते टिल्ट अप करते हैं एक ठाकुर बैठा है घोड़े गाड़ी में कोचवान है पीछे हम पैन करते दूर में एक भूखा प्यासा धूप के पत्ते नंगे पीठ नंगे पांव मसरूफ 6 दिन का खाया नहीं एक आदमी चप्पल अपनी धोती में लगाए हुए भागे जा रहा है बग्गी के पीछे भागे जा रहा है सर ये आपकी एंट्री अच्छा ये ऋषि कपूर है ये ऋषि कपूर लगेगा तो व्हाट डू यू एक्सपेक्ट मी टू से आई वुड से टेल मी द होल स्टोरी I said cut it right here we are not going no further I used to be very busy, I won't name the director, but I used to be shooting constantly 2 shifts from one place to the other. So I didn't have any time to tell him, for me to narrate the story. So one day I was shooting in Mud Island, pretty far away from my own studio in RK, and I said, listen, तू आ जा वहाँ, हम लोग अपनी van में बैठ के चलेंगे, तेरी गाड़ी पीछे आ जाएगी. Second shift I was shooting in another studio. So he said, sure sir, he came there, he sat down with me in the van. First, first 5 minutes, how are you sir, ये वो everything. I said, हाँ बाजी अभी शुरू कर. So sir, he says, it's a great story sir, I'm sure you'd love it. कहानी है एक रात की और ये ऐसे क्या बोला तू कहानी है एक रात की ऐसे एक रात की मैं तो रात भर शूटिंग करते रहेगा आजा गाड़ी रोको ऐसे चलो बाहर इसे क्या कर रहे इसे यार मैं रात को 8 साढ़े 8 के बाद शूटिंग करता नहीं हूँ तू मेरे को रात भर शूटिंग कराएगा मैं किधर से काम करूंगा यार गाड़ी रोको चलो बाहर One director wanted me to work in a film from morning 6 to 8 and 3 to 5. I said, listen, one day I can do it. I'm an actor, not a bloody milkman. Yeah, कि सुबह 6 से लेके 8 बजे शूटिंग करेगा यार.
Brilliant, sir. How have you dealt with this man for so many years? I mean,
Like my brother-in-law says, he says you need a medal
You need
to
a
be
medal.
with him.
No, he's fantastic, but he's
Yeah, but
also very temperamental and full of energy,
Full of
Yeah.
energy. So sometimes it's
Yeah.
difficult to cope up.